Welcome to Meaningful Mondays with the Community Foundation of Middlesex County, where we only know good people who do great things in our community. Whether you are a volunteer, a donor, or a nonprofit organization, each episode of Meaningful Mondays will celebrate you, our friends and neighbors who have a deep passion for and commitment to improving the quality of life for all in Middlesex County. So let's kick off the week with great conversations with remarkable people, businesses, and nonprofits making a difference right in our own backyard. Greetings, everyone. This is the first of many of our Meaningful Mondays. And I'm going to say that this is also going to be the merriest of Mondays we'll ever have with Community Foundation and its friends. So I am so happy to have Jacqui Hubbard from Ivoryton Playhouse and Chris Shane from Ivoryton Illuminations with us today, because you two are stars. And I really want your autograph because when you're even more famous than you are, I will be able to sell them online and make $1 billion for the Community Foundation and for the community. So with that, just a few days ago, you two were on national TV, and I have to tell you that our former board members from as far away as Atlanta and some of our donors from as far away from Arizona know all about you, and they're rooting for you.
Oh, wow.
So let's take a step back. So Jacqui, first of all, I'm going to ask you to give us a little bit of history about Ivoryton Playhouse, because you play such an integral part, not only just in Ivoryton and Essex, but also in the state. And then we'll segue into Chris, the one and only Chris, the one and only inventor, along with you, of Ivoryton Illuminations, and delight everyone with the story about how you've made Essex one of the merriest towns at Christmas time.
Well, the Playhouse, which was built in 1911, is the center. It's sort of the heart of the village. Right. And it was created that way because it was the community gathering space for the workers of the Comstock Cheney piano factory. And then when pianos started going out of style with the rise of radio and silent movies, the piano works cut back its workforce considerably. A lot of work was moved down the river, and the meeting house, or as it was known then, the Comstock Cheney Hall, closed its doors in the 1920s. And it wasn't until a man called Milton Stiefel, who was a retired stage manager, or sorry, not retired, it was an exhausted stage manager from the city, came here on vacation and found the building not being used and decided that it would make a terrific summer theater, did it actually begin its new life. And that was in 1930. And it has been continually operating as a theater since then, a summer theater up until 2005, when we started operating it year round. And it's interesting, really, because Milton came and found a building that was not being used and decided to make it a theater. And when I came here in 1990, I too found a building that was not being used because it was the winter and it was only being used in the summer months.
Oh.
And so I just asked if I could do something in there. And in fact, Chris's daughter, Mary, who went to school with my daughter, Rosie, was part of it. I started a children's theater. And we started through the 90s producing children and community shows in there while the River Rep, the professional group, was in the summer. But since 2005, we have been a year-round professional theater. And it's only been dark twice in its history, once for COVID and once for World War II. So it's a pretty great history.
It really is a great history. So I want everybody who's watching, listening, even paying any bit of attention to us to make sure that they get to one of the wonderful shows that you put on. So let's segue to Ivoryton Illuminations, Chris. I think you are legendary in our little three-borough town about your passion for lights. So tell us how that got started. Let's have a little bit more history.
Well, it's funny. There's a connection between Jacqui and me here, and that's my daughter, Mary. And I don't know if I've ever told you this story, Cynthia. It's funny how things go. So Mary was acting with Rosie at Jacqui's place, and of course, little girls grow up. And when she was about 18 years old, she unfortunately was the daughter of a guy who loves Christmas lights.
Yes, I remember your old, where you lived before.
That's right. They kicked me out of Essex because they had too many lights, Cynthia. So by the time I got to Ivoryton, I was up to 50,000 lights all on my house. And an 18-year-old girl suddenly thought it was the most embarrassing thing in her life.
Oh, Dad,
And
how could you?
I know. And so, and I said, she said, listen, Dad, it's either me or the lights. And I said, what do you mean, me? She said, I'm going to commit suicide. That's what it means.
Oh, no, not, oh.
So, Cynthia, it took me a week to decide. It took me a week to decide. And in the end, I said, oh, all right, Mary, you can, I'm going to move the lights. So, anyway, so I saw Jacqui. I said, Jack, what am I going to do? I've got these 50,000 lights. And Jacqui, being the inspirational, creative woman that she is, she said, why don't you move them to the green? So, Cynthia, you're going to love this story. I go back to my wife, who also was embarrassed. And I said, I love you both, Mary and Jamie. I love you both, that I'm taking down the lights. They will never be on my house again. And they were so touched. They thought that was the most wonderful gesture. Little knowing, of course, they were moving 50 yards down the road. And that is how the illumination started.
And so when did it go to Ivoryton, Chris? And then
No, then that was the year.
Oh, that was the year?
That was the year. Yes, it was 15 years ago, right?
Oh my gosh.
Chris?
15 years ago, they moved 50 yards. And so I donated all the lights. And back then, as I said, Cynthia, I had 50,000. I also had a computerized thing so that the computer would play music and the lights would dance to it. So right from the beginning, we've had dancing lights. But as you know, Cynthia, 50, I'm not going to start. What, Cynthia, why would I stop at 50?
You would never stop, Chris.
Who in the right mind would ever stop at 50,000?
No, right.
Except if you live in Essex, of course, right?
So you didn't stop. So where are we now in terms of
Well,
the total numbers?
the heyday was about 3 years ago. Don't remember, 3 years ago, we probably went a little overboard, actually, in the sense that we created a lake on the green with all these Christmas lights and a boat floating and all the rest of it. And by then, we were probably 600,000.
Oh.
We got rid of we sank the boat, we drained the lake, and I'd say 300 to 400 an hour. I mean, still very significant, but we just got 300 to 400. Yeah, and it takes a long time.
I know, and who does this though? I mean,
well, Jack, Cynthia, that's what. But I love Ivoryton so much because it really is, in my opinion, the best example I know, and I've lived all over the world, of a community.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't ask the town for anything. We raise our own money. Everyone who puts it up are volunteers. And the volunteers consist of people within the community. We get the Valley High School involved. We get Westbrook High School involved on the National Honor Society. We get Xavier High School and Mercy High School involved because they have to do community service to graduate.
Right.
And as you know, a lot of Xavier and Mercy kids live down here. So if you want to do an internship, what a great way to do it.
Oh my gosh, talk about community with with all capital letters.
Well, I'll go one stage further. It's local churches too. So we this year we got involved with Trinity Lutheran Church, and they have this thing called, I think it's God's Love Community Work or something. And what it is they take one day a year where instead of doing a service, they do a community service for God.
Oh my gosh.
They approached to me and I said, oh my God, we need all the help we can. Anyway, Cynthia, they were wonderful. So that there's two sides to what the Trinity Church can be. You know this because you were the one who sponsored it. We needed to replace all of our Christmas tree lights. That actually is not only expensive, it's a lot of work. We have to take down the old ones, and there was a lot of them. Each one of those bulbs is $5. So we wanted to see if any of those bulbs still worked. To do that, we had to test all of the old bulbs.
Oh, I have a visual.
Oh yeah, and then we had to take them, we tested them all, we took them all out. Then we bought new wires that we had, it was just a coil, it was a 2,000 feet coil of wires that we had to create 100 feet male and female ends. Then we had to test the wires, then we had to test the new bulbs, each one of them. It was about a 3-weekend project, actually.
Oh my gosh. Well,
And then after that, they helped put them up.
oh my gosh, what a labor of love for everybody, and what a gift to the community, really, for bringing so much joy. But there's even more that you do. Don't you do something for the children in the area? Revolving around.
We do a lot. Yeah, so you might remember this. So the Ivoryton, when we started this thing 15 years ago, Cynthia, we were blessed to have our own Santa. His name was Santa Billy Needballer, who in my mind, and I know Jacqui would agree.
Absolutely.
I think Santa Claus reports to Bill Needballer. That's what I think. He was so,
Yeah.
anyway, he had this compassion for looking after kids for Christmas. So we do two things. At the Illumination itself, every child who comes along gets a free Christmas present from us and gets a free photograph.
Wow.
Then we also do Elf on the Shelf, and all the older kids participate in that, and they get a Christmas present. And then on top of that, the Ivoryton Alliance runs something that's called Operation Holiday Happiness, where we raise money. And what we do with it, Cynthia, this is actually, we took it over when Santa Billy died, because we felt his legacy needed to be promoted. And what we did with it this year, Cynthia, is last year we participated in the Essex Elementary Backpack Program. And when we did it, we said to ourselves, you know the statistics, I won't need to talk about it in public, but there's a crying need for kids who don't eat. And so we said to ourselves, well, what about the siblings who are no longer at Essex? So all of this year, I've been trying to find someone, and I found her literally 3 weeks ago. And what she does is she does a backpack program for Essex siblings who are no longer at Essex Elementary.
Positive ripple effect you've created, honestly. And Jacqui, 15 years ago, seems like yesterday. It just got started.
Yeah, it did seem like yesterday.
So the positive ripple effect has spread far and wide. Certainly now it's national.
Sure.
But what changes have you seen, and what's next?
Well, Chris and I are not getting any younger. So
Getting better.
What's next is getting new blood involved, I think, because Chris talks about the community, and he does have young people come and help, and that is great. But there is a small core band of volunteers, and I think that it is vital for it to carry on, to involve some of the families. I was thinking about it this year at the Playhouse during the main event. We have Santa in the theater, and we get books donated. We gave away 200 books to children this year. And it's really, really wonderful. And I see all of these families come through, and they love it. And they love the fact that there's no pressure to spend money. What we do there is everything is free. But we need them to get on board with what Chris and I feel, which is it's only in giving back to the community. And you know this because it's what you do. That's the biggest gift you can give yourself.
Oh, absolutely.
So, and I think in getting involved and having their kids involved, it's teaching your kids a vital lesson. So I think this year, because I've been thinking about it a lot, is a time to start early this spring, reaching out to people that we know with families, people that we know who do feel invested in their community, and start having them, getting them on board. It's not a huge commitment of time if we have enough people,
Absolutely.
and it is so well worth it. I know when we start and we're hauling all the chairs in the theater, and we're putting the lights up at the window, and everybody's tired. It's the end of the year and they're grumpy. And then Santa arrives and the kids start coming in, and you're gonna end up in tears at some time that
Well, and as you just said, you get more than you give. And so,
yes, absolutely.
so hopefully this little meaningful Monday will help and people will hear about it and we'll keep on spreading it far
Yeah.
and wide. And then if they want to get involved, how do they reach out?
Well, Chris, that's an interesting thought. You're the reachable person still, or?
Yeah, Cynthia, you can start with me.
Sure.
Yeah.
Following up on Jackie's point, I mean, you know, Jacqui and I go back a long time, and we're on exactly the same page. What we've been doing is we've been forming committees, Cynthia. So it's no longer just one person. We're now delegating and starting to. I know you can't use the word groom anymore, but basically that's what we're doing. We're getting more people involved. So as you know, Cynthia, the trick is to distribute the workload evenly so no one feels overwhelmed. And that's something that's a continuing process. We're not.
I was just going to say the community foundation will help in spreading the word and making sure that every opportunity we get to say, you know, call Chris. So
That would be terrific.
we'll make sure that we do that.
And of course, you know, we got notoriety now. I mean,
Yes.
So it's funny how it goes, not to sort of toot our own horns, because Cynthia, we've known each other a long time. I didn't do this, and Jacqui didn't do this to get on national TV. In fact, when we heard about it, we couldn't believe it. In fact,
that's the mystery. How did this happen? Who spread the word?
No idea.
It was someone in Ivoryton who told NBC they should check us out.
This
really?
is
so. But Cynthia, you know about Country Living magazine too, right?
No.
Oh, you didn't know? Oh my God, Cynthia, you're talking to two rock stars here.
I knew that way ahead of this.
So NBC came on the Tuesday. The Friday before, the local CBS station came to interview us. And the reason for it is Country Living magazine last month voted Essex as the seventh best town, cheeriest town in America.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That is fabulous. Well, I thank you for putting us on the map nationally and probably by now internationally. So,
and I'm going to just add, you know, that you said about being on the map. So Milton Stiefel from the theater, when he was in Ivoryton, he realized we were not on the map. Ivoryton did not exist on any map. So he hounded Rand McNally and got petitions and people to actually get Ivoryton put on the map.
Oh my
so I think it's kind of funny that here we are now with our lights. We're on the map.
Oh my gosh.
And then another interesting thing is that, you know, Chris and I are from the same area in England. We never met there, but we are from the same place. And we both had the same thought when it came to Christmas lights. The biggest lighting display in the UK is in a town called Blackpool. It's a big holiday place, seaside town, and they have Blackpool Illuminations. They are famous, I think, only in the UK. Do you think so, Chris? Yeah, everybody in England knows about them. So that's where the name came from, was from our little bit of home, bringing it to Ivoryton.
You know what you two should do? You should do a trivia game about Christmas, not only here in Ivoryton, now that you're on the map, but also in the UK. So let me just summarize and just say we are so honored to have you in our neighborhood, and because you make Middlesex County, not just Ivoryton, the best place to live, work, and play. So I thank you for what you've done. And I'm also going to do a shout out to you two for volunteering your very precious time for making, bringing smiles, spreading joy, and making the holidays very special.
But Cynthia, you know, don't underestimate your contribution too.
Yes, absolutely.
The support that you've given both me and the Playhouse.
Yes, absolutely.
Very significant, and it means a lot to us. It really does.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, it's all about community. It's all about good people who do great things, and you're right here. So thank you for kicking off our Meaningful Mondays, and I will send you the link and you can help spread the word, and we're going to spread the word, and we're going to get you those volunteers that you need.
Okay, great.
Happy
Thank you,
holidays.
Cynthia.
Merry
Yes,
Christmas,
Mary.
Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Here's to a great 2024.
Thanks, you
Take
too.
care.
Bye.
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 Thank you for joining us for this week's episode of Meaningful Mondays. At the Community Foundation of Middlesex County, we know that philanthropy matters and philanthropy works. Together, we support the arts, education, human services, animal welfare, the environment, heritage enhancements, and so much more by providing services, programs, and grants to our local nonprofits. We invite you to learn more and share your passion with us. Visit us at middlesexcountycf.org or contact us at 860-347-0025. Together we can make great things happen.